Happy Tuesday. I hope you had a good Labor Day weekend. I'm Justin.
Yeah, it was Labor Day. I showed up anyway.
He's
nobody
JP.
bothered to tell me. I'm JP. What's it to you?
Who's asking?
Yeah.
We've got Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 12 in the bag. Week. A good episode. Week, not something I would use to describe it. I thought it was a good episode. I mean, it was a little draggy at certain points, but overall, I really enjoyed it. JP, what was your overall thought on this episode?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, we got some new threats in the form of this mysterious old dirty lady.
You said they're calling her what? This isn't us. This is what the writers are calling her up to this point because we don't have a name.
According to my research, Filthy Woman.
That
is what her handle is.
Filthy Woman. Sounds like an 80s hair band.
Yeah, I was going to go more with like Calypso just because she reminds me of the villainess from Pirates of the Caribbean. But
I could see that.
She's kind of like a Bizarro Michonne, right?
It seems that way, right? Yeah.
I mean, she's not using walkers as camouflage. She's like using them as attack dogs.
As straight up weapons.
Yeah, she's kind of like the Bizarro world,
And it's weird how she's doing it.
Michonne, yeah.
It's almost like she's trying to help spread the plague that way. Like she let her zombie eat, Quinn was the guy's name, I think, right? Yeah. Quinn. Let the zombie eat Quinn, and then let her zombie like go forth into the world and do your thing. And now she's got Quinn as kind of her dog, to like attack for her and stuff. And it's like that's how she's spreading the virus one by one.
Well, you heard what she had told him as he was turning. She was like, you were weak, and now you're going to be strong. I mean, she really thinks she's doing, doing these people a favor. They can't survive on their own, even though they've survived this long on their own, so they can't be but so weak, Calypso, Filthy Woman, whatever.
This is true.
Your theory doesn't hold that much water, but I mean, you're crazy, so I guess we'll give you a pass.
It's kind of like a Lizzie thing from The Walking Dead. Remember, spoilers, by the way, going forward, obviously. I mean, it says discussion in the title, so I'd hope you know that we're going to discuss. But spoilers for Fear the Walking Dead and even The Walking Dead. We, a lot of times, are going to talk about things that kind of relate between the two. So if you aren't caught up on either, number one, I don't know why you clicked on the video, but number two, just a warning. But so that reminds me kind of like Lizzie. Remember when she killed her sister, Lizzie and Mika? She killed her sister and was like, she'll be back. And then she can't die, and then Carol shot her in the head.
Yeah, some people just think you're better off, or you're basically going to turn anyway, so why not just, jump the gun and get it over with? But I don't. Maybe Filthy Woman's just kind of getting high off of the Sharpie markers. She's using them so much. Maybe she just be sniffing those markers.
She writes on their head, and she's like,
"Yeah." Well, what you put on Quinn was "people you know," and he had said that earlier to June. So I guess she's just throwing last words on there. I guess the one before that was obviously "take what you need,"
right?
Which kind of leads us to believe maybe that was the trucker.
That's
that
what I was thinking.
From.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, yeah, she does not like a good Samaritan and definitely doesn't like people, kind of bettering themselves through the apocalypse. That's for sure. Kind of the opposite of a self-help guru, I guess you could say.
Let's just say good thing she didn't try nothing on Morgan when he found her rummaging through the box because,
tainting that water.
Morgan would have put that street sign right through her head.
Yeah, that's all I can think of now when I see a street sign. It's just him slicing and dicing.
Die, filthy woman.
Yep.
I say that because I don't know your name. I thought it was a good one. I apologize for being so mixed up. The last few weeks have been kind of weird, and it's been a lot going on. So I don't feel like I've given these episodes my full attention the way. But this one I did. This one I sat down and watched, and then yesterday morning, Labor Day, I even woke up and watched it a second time just to make sure that it was like cemented into my head. But I had gotten all mixed up, and I guess sometimes the previews will mess you up because they'll say, next on The Walking Dead or whatever, and sometimes they'll show clips from future episodes. So I thought that June and John were together for some reason, completely forgetting that John and Strand had went off to find Charlie. And just where everybody was. But I've went back and rewatched a couple of episodes of I'm ready.
Yeah, I totally forgot John Dory talked Strand into helping him find little Charlie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a...
Oh, bless you.
Excuse me. Lord have mercy. I mean, it's a Sunday night. You're enjoying your favorite show. Sometimes JP likes to indulge a little bit. And not to mention we're doing these at like 7 a.m. So sometimes these details aren't fresh in my mind. But, Yeah, so Strand and John Dory, assumingly, are looking for Charlie, and which Charlie is with.
I'm excited for you. Yeah, Charlie's with Alicia. Duh, I wanted to say Alexis for some reason. You sneezed, and I sneezed, and now it's just all confusing. But yeah, she's with Alicia. I'm excited to see a Strand and John Dory episode. Two of my favorite characters together.
Oh, brother,
which the way it looked, and it could have been showing the rest of the season, but it looked like next episode is going to show a little bit of everybody.
Hopefully.
Because typically I'm not a fan of this, like, okay, we're going to show you one episode on this person, then another episode on this person, then another. Which this one was good, though, because we got crossover. We had Morgan and his new friends along with June and Al. So
yeah, they finally linked back up. Had a killer little car chase there.
Yeah,
and chasing down the van in the F1, whatever the pickup truck was, and crushing a little walker with the kicking that jack.
I was
going to
say, when she had that truck on the jack stand and that zombie was like crawling, I knew then. I was like, even if Al gets bit and dies or whatever, that truck's falling on that walker. Like, that's gonna happen. And then it did, which, man, that kind of makes me even like I like to have like several jack stands. Like, I'm weary when I get under my car or truck to work on it. You know, I want to make sure that I've got it very sturdy, because that's always been kind of like it's not like a crazy fear, but you know, you always worried like this is
it's not an irrational fear at all. That's vehicle. A very realistic outcome, yeah.
And then after seeing her kick it, you know, little old Al, she probably don't weigh anything, and she kicks it until it falls off. I'm like, all right, so now I'm going to start putting extra jack stands just to be safe.
Yeah, and we're starting to get a little bit more backstory on Al. Apparently, she's got a very sentimental attachment to the SWAT van.
Yep. Some videos we haven't seen yet of her people, you know, and that's why it was so important to her to get this. She was ready to get that thing back, even if it was the last thing she did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Until her dying breath, she was going to get that SWAT van back.
And sending June right after it, not knowing like how many people may have commandeered it.
Yeah, a little selfish.
There's like some heavy artillery in there.
Yeah, like June said, I almost killed a guy. And June doesn't want to be that person that just kills people without remorse if she doesn't have to. And I think, you know, trying to hold on to a little bit of humanity with all of it just crumbling around them, it's been long crumbled, but it's just still falling apart. But and then she almost killed somebody for under false pretenses. She thought there was medicine in there, and she almost killed someone thinking, I'm doing this to save someone else, but really she was just doing it to help Al hold on to her memories.
Yeah.
Which there was a Easter egg, a tape in her group of tapes. I'm sure you saw it after I guess it was the midseason finale. Yeah, I think it was the midseason finale. People were talking about it. That says like Abraham and Doc or something to that effect.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that we'll ever get to see it. I'm sure that somewhere along the line a producer has said, no, you'll never watch it. It was just a cool Easter egg. But how cool would that be? Like, because I don't know. The way I see it, Al's going to die, and that's when June will go back and watch through her videos to find, like, you know, her people and these things, and then maybe it'd be cool if they threw in like a Abraham Eugene video.
Yeah, or if nothing else, maybe it'll be like a DVD extra or something. Who knows? But we need to see it. This footage must be aired.
Right, that would be so cool. But June definitely a tough player though. We've learned that June is. We already knew June could be a badass, but she's definitely someone that you want on your team.
Yeah, just took gun right out of guy's hand.
Yeah,
just knocked his ass down, and snatch.
And took
tables have turned, pal.
And it sucked because I mean, it was like they started talking, and she told him like, hey, he knew she wasn't lying. She had a chance to kill him, and she didn't. And she's like, you can be more than someone that just held me at gunpoint. You can come be a part of our group, trying to make a fresh start. And then it looked like things really were going to happen, and then the mile marker was marked wrong, and.
Oh man, yeah, that was gut wrenching, man. You just see as he's pulling that tape off. I mean, yeah,
you're like,
you're a goner, God. Pal.
Yeah,
it's all over for you.
It's pretty cool though to have like this single serial killer out there, though. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it, you've always had like these leaders. Mm-hmm. Like in The Walking Dead, you had like the governor. And,
it's always just a numbers game,
right? Yeah, and then you kind of had Troy on this one, but he still had himself like an army at his disposal. Now you've got just what seems to be one solitary woman going around and seeking her zombies on people.
Yeah.
I like the parallel you drew there to Michonne. It's like they both use walkers like in a chained fashion, and Michonne used them to blend in and like as defense, and this woman uses it as straight up attack dog.
Yeah, man, it's Mirrorland Michonne, I'm telling you. That's what they should have called her. Filthy woman, Mirrorland Michonne. Mirrorland, much better handle.
Evil Michonne.
Hopefully, Morgan will draw the parallel.
I'm sure if Michonne and her met, Michonne would just slice through the zombie, then slice through the filthy woman, and be done with it.
Yeah,
because Michonne don't play.
But if she ended up having a katana of her own, maybe
that would be wicked.
Yeah, like Michonne, it was like two twin blades, that the samurai master made down in Houston, and one got one and the other got the other.
She and Michonne are sisters.
Oh my goodness!
And then they'll have to cross over into The Walking Dead and face off.
Oh my goodness!
Which that would be really cool, though. Just to have to, just something centered on Michonne, because and this is going to The Walking Dead, but like on Michonne, yeah, we've had some episodes feature her, but I know with her movie filming schedule and everything, it's harder to be on set for every episode and all of that. But I hope. I would love to see an episode focused on kind of the backstory of Michonne, because we've been told it a little bit, but we don't, it'd be really cool to kind of, that's one of my favorite characters on The Walking Dead. So it'd be cool to go a little bit further into her history on the show. And then on top of that, for this woman to be like her mom or older sister or something. That taught, maybe she taught her how to use a katana, which we haven't even seen a katana, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Have you read reports that they're finally getting it on track with the third spinoff Walking Dead series?
No, wait.
Well, I guess it'd technically be the second spinoff, third Walking Dead series.
No, I forgot all about that. Tell me a little bit about that.
They haven't really released any details. They say it could have something to do with. People have speculated it could be like a mini-series regarding, comic spoiler, even though I'm not going to go into details.
Comic spoiler.
Yeah.
You hear that, so
it could be regarding the Commonwealth.
Oh,
which
okay,
is,
yeah.
A thread playing out in the comic right now. Not going to go into it, but...
That'll be the furthest forward in time jump they've done. In the sense of, in the comics, usually it takes... when did... Issue 100 come out when Negan made his first appearance?
Mm-hmm.
That was a couple of years ago, right?
A
couple of years before we saw it on the screen.
Yep.
The Commonwealth thing just started within the last year, really, right? And if they went ahead and jumped the gun and put that in, it'd be interesting, because then you don't really know where to follow the comics, because they're just kind of pulling things from all directions.
Yeah, and as I said, it's all speculation. They've definitely, it's definitely out there that there will be another companion series, but... Yeah, it's been speculated it could possibly maybe just be a mini-series regarding the Commonwealth and a way to draw threads from both shows and, maybe shed some light on the helicopter and a larger community,
Yeah, maybe that's where Jadis comes from,
Yeah, so it seems. So, lots of exciting stuff. I would love to have a Walking Dead series just year round. Not one series
well,
year
then
round,
it's just it's just you get Walking Dead all year, you know what I mean? You got I agree. I see, and that's the thing, man. So many people are dogging The Walking Dead now that I know personally. I've got friends that used to love it. Now they're like, "Oh, I quit watching it after yada yada." And I had one guy, and again, spoilers, but we've already said that. But I just want to make sure that we don't spoil this for you. But I don't know why you're this far on fear of you. But anyways, back to The Walking Dead. I had somebody tell me that they quit watching after Abraham and Glenn died because they said that episode was terrible. And I'm like, no, the cliffhanger and making us wait 7 months, that was terrible, because you'd built it up like we were going to find out that night. Then you made us wait another half year to figure it out. But I thought the episode was awesome. I thought it was very, especially if you read the comics, man, it was insane how even not just dialogue, but how they had even had some frames where Negan was standing in the same position with the same posture as his comic counterpart. So, but everybody's been dogging these, but I'd be thrilled to see another Walking Dead show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know what I would really love, and especially to keep it fresh, do it like American Horror Story. Give us a completely new story each season, just like a Walking Dead.
Keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And then you can revisit some later if like American Horror Story is finally about to do by combining seasons 1 and 3 into a crossover thing. They're going to do Coven and Murder House.
Yeah.
The seasons are going to. So, that is a really cool idea. Focus on a different group each season per se, and then
you could jump around the timeline of the apocalypse or locations, even nations. One season could be like an origin story for a certain character. The possibilities are endless, and that way you're not overly invested in one singular storyline.
My biggest fear is with all of this happening, them killing Rick or Rick Lee, however Rick exits the show. I feel like that's gonna. I just really, and I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like that's just really gonna derail a lot.
It very well could. I don't like it either. The more I read and investigate a little bit, I think they're going to write him off. I don't think he's going to die, but then again, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think it's going to have something to do with that helicopter.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he'll take, because I mean, like Judith, man, Judith has just been kind of there, and it would be like basically, which I don't understand why he would leave and not take Michonne with him, unless maybe they're going to break up this season, or maybe that'll be like their breakup. Like she'll say, I need to stay here and help these people. You should get Judith, but maybe they'll meet Rick and be like, we think there's a place for someone like you at the Commonwealth, and then maybe Judith will be his motivation for going. Like, let me, get her out of here if nothing else. And I think that would be great, because then you leave it open-ended. Rick could come back, but if he doesn't, then we know he's safe. We assume he's safe and sound at the Commonwealth. But
yeah, and with the Whisperer War looming, I don't think that's been kind of revealed in the trailer. With the Whisperer War looming.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to bring up before I forgot. All right, I had watched that, the trailer where I think it's Eugene and Rosita covered in mud, laying there, and the walkers are on the hill above them. But I never heard the actual "where are they?" where people. I just saw it written. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention. So people were like, "It's the Whisperers." One of them says, "Where are they?" And I thought maybe you had to listen close. But I finally saw the trailer again this weekend, and the way they do that is so crazy. I imagine if you don't know what the Whisperers are, you're in for a treat, because the way they're just like, "Where are they?" Like. And it's cool, too, because they couldn't just talk as zombies, even when they're traveling with zombies, and just be like, where are they at? Because then the zombies would be like, huh? So they kind of moan it as, like, so it's really cool. I'm actually really excited about season 9 of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, same here, man. And that's a great reason for Rick to want to get his little daughter out of there, Yeah. And this new threat, more sinister than ever, is coming. And I mean, it is hard to believe that he would abandon everyone with this giant threat coming at him. But
thinking maybe he'll get hurt or something too. Like I feel like maybe he'll get maybe he'll get stabbed, because we know that certain groups like to be real stabby.
Yeah,
maybe he'll get stabbed, because there's a scene, it looks like in the trailer, where he's holding his stomach and blood spilling on the ground. Maybe he'll get stabbed and you'll think he's going to die, but then what they'll do is they'll say, if we get him to the Commonwealth, we have doctors, we can save him. And so that'll be why they take him off to the Commonwealth. Like maybe he's gravely injured, and they, so something like that. But anyways, back to Fear, because I get off track just because.
So much going on, man.
It is. It's just a shared universe.
Yeah, not to mention we got a new comic coming out this week. Yeah?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we'll have that to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, that's right. We'll have a couple extra podcasts. We'll have a Walking Dead comic special podcast along with our pull list podcast. So,
man, that pull list is long this week, brother.
It is. Man, my wallet's not digging it. But yeah, so this episode, do you think that Al's going to... I feel like Al's not going to make it to the end of the season. Like, I feel like she's going to die at some point. I feel like that'll be like the emotional weight that, she'll go back and watch Al's videos and kind of see a different Al and her people and all of that. I feel like that was the setup for learning that she has those tapes.
Yeah, and you want to think that John and June are safe. You don't want. I mean, they just got back together, man. That'd be too. My heart couldn't take it.
Hey, we saw it with Glenn, man.
Yeah,
we saw it with Glenn. True. He and Maggie had been separated, and they got back together just in time for
don't tell me that,
for the skull crushing. So.
As long as Victor Strand's safe, I'll be happy at the end of the season. But nonetheless,
I had said a podcast or two back that I could see him dying off, but I don't think they will. He's just too interesting of a character, and he's just too there's not really any closure on him yet. Like that he is behind Alicia, and he cared deeply for Madison and Nick and that group, but you also know that he could screw them over, and that he loves them, but you also know that he. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never quite know if he's 100% on your side.
He has a propensity for self-preservation.
Right. He's a wild card. You don't know who, I find him to be a very interesting character, one that we haven't gotten nearly enough of this second half of the season. But I'm hoping this next episode will kind of remedy that, and we'll get a John Dory and Strand, featured episode.
Yeah, and we just don't have that many day one Fear characters left. You've already taken so much from us. Don't do this.
If Madison comes back. She's like Two-Face, like half her face is burned, and now she's like half evil, half good. Like, hey, Strand, you want a drink? He's like flipping a coin.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I've seen very mixed emotions on the whole Madison thing, especially like in the comments of our podcast when that episode aired. Like a lot of people were like, "I'm done with the show," and Madison was the best thing, and then there was a decent number of people that were like, I didn't really find Madison interesting. I like Madison and Nick both were probably two of my tops, and then they took them out. So
yeah, I really wish Madison had stuck around. I would have rather seen June.
Oh yeah. Looking at it from the outside, like Strand is definitely one of the most interesting characters on that show. He hadn't always been my favorite necessarily because he was always screwing people over. Like one minute you think that you know him and you like him, and then the next he goes and does something stupid and gets everybody in danger. But then again, that's when you pull back and you look at it, it's what makes him such an interesting character is just the fact that you never really can read him. You don't truly know what his intentions are. You might think you do, but then the way he's written, he can come around last minute and just completely derail what you were thinking about him.
Yeah, he's one of those characters that's always kind of, 2 steps ahead. You just,
Kind of like a less clever Ben Linus, which I know you don't watch Lost, so that's
from Charlie Brown?
That's from Lost. It's a character that I love. One of my favorite scenes in that show is when he and Jack are getting ready to get into some shiznit, you know what I mean? Like they're about to walk into danger, and Jack asks him something like, "Are you sure about this?" And he's like, "Jack, I always have a plan."
Right.
And that's kind of how Strand is. I feel like even when things feel comfortable and things are okay, he's always got this exit strategy in his mind that he's just ready to execute if need be. I mean, we saw it at the stadium. Everything seemed hunky-dory, but he had an entire SUV of supplies, which then he shared and came around. But he did get to that point where he was ready to leave if he needed to. And so I don't know. I just want to see more Strand. I don't think I'm as in love with him as you are. I think I find him to be an interesting character and a great actor. I love his voice. Like he could just read
bedtime stories to you just every night of the week. I feel the same way.
If I could do a good Strand impression, I would, but it's terrible. But
yeah,
imagine like, hey, diddle diddle.
I'm not going
to. The cat and the fiddle. Yeah. The cow jumped over the moon. But yeah, great character. I'm liking this season, man. It feels, I don't know, something about it to me feels like older Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's great, man. New threats, new characters. Yeah, I'm loving, like you said, the new villain. And I just read, played by Tanya Pinkins. I hope I'm saying that right. A Tony Award winner.
That's the name of the actor that plays the filthy woman?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, he has an on-stage background,
Yeah.
So that's, good stuff.
Did you see the previews for next week's episode?
Yeah, I didn't.
Man, and I might be wrong on this, and please correct me, because we never claim to be experts on this. We just, as the title of our video suggests, we just like to discuss the episodes. Mm-hmm. But it looked like in the previews that a zombie was getting attacked by like a gator or a shark or something. I don't know. It was like in the water walking, and then just something like looks like it takes it under.
Made it down to Louisiana, maybe?
I don't know, man. Do they have gators in Texas?
I don't know. It's like a Gulf state.
We've got them like one state over.
Yeah.
I've always joked if they crossed over into Virginia, I'm done kayaking. I go like kayaking or fishing every weekend, and it's all safe, and you don't really have much to worry about other than maybe the occasional snapping turtle or garfish. But if I ever just was kayaking and just saw a gator like swim by, done. I'm going to the bank, helicopter me out of here.
I mean, you used to not see so many like bears and coyotes and stuff around here, and now, man, they're just all
it takes is one douchebag to drop a couple of gators in like a river here, and then they could just start. Because, man, there's enough fish down here for them to survive on. That's what happened
with snakehead fish. It was like an aquarium thing, and people start putting them in the wild, and
they were a very invasive species.
Yeah, you gotta keep those. You gotta keep the indigenous species, to themselves.
Coyotes are like that around here too. Like they weren't as common, and then some wildlife people introduced them like long. What was it? It was like a ladder. It was like rabbits or. What did they put them in to thin out? It was something they put them.
It was the deer population.
Was it the deer population? Might have been.
I could be wrong.
Then now the coyote population's gotten out of control, so they pay you if you kill them, which is very profitable for some of us. But I'm just saying. But
now you got to figure out what to bring in to take out the coyotes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I'm where the alligators come in. I don't know.
I hope to God not, man. Please.
Anaconda. I don't know. What's a good predator for coyotes?
Please keep our rivers relatively safe.
I don't know.
I'm not, man. I know there are people that like live in Louisiana, North Carolina. They'll go out and kayak knowing there's gators in the water and stuff. That's great, but nah, I'm good.
Oh, yeah. I saw Lake Placid way too many times growing up. I mean, you got to have a lady like Betty White sitting on her dock feeding these things.
It's like my favorite part of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Betty White. Yeah, she's a boss. But I'm trying to think if there's anything really to cover on this episode. I mean, I'm sure there's something if you want to discuss it super thoroughly. But, I mean, I think we covered most of it, right? I mean, of course, Morgan and his friends seem to be getting along even better now. We know they kind of left off on a good note the last episode, and he had gotten them to drop the packages off. But they seem to listen to him, like when Al and June walk up, and he's like, can we get them some food? And they don't question, she just goes and grabs a bag with water and food and gives it to them.
They're good people deep down. They definitely want to get to Virginia.
Captain Morgan has taken control.
He has. It's a beautiful thing, man, a nice moral compass that people are actually following for once. Usually the moral compass is just there for, show. Or
to kill off.
Yeah,
in The Walking Dead, the moral compass just points you in the right direction, then dies.
Yep.
So I'm telling you, I really hope they don't plan to kill off Morgan anytime soon, man. I think, number one, he's just an awesome character. Number two, Lenny James is one of my favorite actors on set. I think that he's so awesome, man.
Really?
You just look at his transformation. It's like Matt had said before on a past podcast. It takes a lot of talent to be able to act without words. Mm-hmm. To be able to just convey emotion strongly on your face without actually being able to say. And Morgan does that. If you watch him, his facial expressions, man, and Lenny James is in that role. When he is Morgan, it's not like he's just acting. Like he is Morgan when the cameras are rolling. I mean, he looks like he bears all the burdens of Morgan. I just really like this character, and I really hope if he does get killed off, it's in a what's the word I'm looking? It's in a I don't know how to put it right, or not a respectable way, but he's killed off in a way that he deserves, because I hope they don't just kill him off for shock value. Yeah. I feel like some characters die, but after they die, you look back and you're like, it was justified. Like Herschel on The Walking Dead, I absolutely hated it when it happened. I was like, screw this show, I'm done. But now I look back and I'm like, wow, that's one of the most memorable episodes ever. And I mean, I'm okay with it. And, so I hope if they do kill off Morgan, they do it in the right way, and it's not just like, all right, we need to shake things up. Let's take Morgan out. I hope it's done in a very Morgan way.
Man. I couldn't take it.
I don't know, who would you be more hurt over though, Morgan or Strand?
No, Strand for sure. Yeah,
I like Strand, but between the two, I'm gonna have to stick with my boy Morgan.
No,
I think he's awesome, man. And just such a good character, great actor. And I haven't gotten bored with him yet. Some characters, when they have their transformation or whatever, or they go through their self-discovery after they've made it through the other side, you just kind of get bored with them on these shows. But, I'm not bored with Morgan every time he's on screen. It's kind of like Rick is on The Walking Dead. Whenever there's a Rick-centered episode, I'm like, oh, yeah. And you're like, really into it. And I'm that way when Morgan is in an episode. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a good one. So
yeah, and the last couple have been really, really good.
I've liked this season. Seasons 3 and 4 have both been very standout seasons for me. I think season 3, and I would have to go back and watch it, so it might just be looking back on it versus now I'm seeing season 4 as it happens. But I feel like season 3 was a little bit more, not high octane, but I feel like there was a little bit more happening. But then again, I'd have to look back on season 4. You never know. This time next year, I might look back and go, I think season 4 had a lot more going on than season 3. But
they're definitely a lot different. But yeah, I mean, season 3, they were on top of their game.
Yeah, I saw someone in the comments a while back didn't seem to like season 3, which of course to each their own. You can not even like this, whatever. Everybody likes different stuff. But man, season 3, I thought was. Like the first 2 seasons, I struggled to keep up with them, to be honest. I enjoyed them, but compared to the pace of The Walking Dead and what all was going on that show, it just felt kind of sluggish. But then once season 3 hit, and I watched that to catch up to be ready to podcast for this season, I just couldn't. I was watching it on Hulu. I just could not stop watching it. Like I try to go to bed fairly early because we have to get up so early. And I mean, I was staying up way too late because I just had to see the next episode. So I'm really excited, man. I think some big things coming. Do you? Again, I have to ask this question since it's been introduced each podcast. Do you think they're going to make it back to Virginia?
I don't think anytime soon.
Do you think that Morgan is going to ever make it back to Virginia?
I think eventually.
Do you think he'll die along the way? But
get there,
he'll get them there. You know what I mean? So or he'll die before they even get there, but he'll get them most of the way and point them the right direction. And when they show up, of course, they'll be weary. But when they say, Morgan Jones showed us how to get here, and then they'll explain that he's passed away and stuff. Maybe that'll be what they'll be like, let him in or whatever, and they'll explain how Morgan basically sacrificed himself to get them there, and that'll kind of be an example some people will live by.
Kind of like how Moses never actually made it to the promised land, but his people did.
Right, yeah, something like that. So that's a good parallel. Got really deep there.
Oh, gosh, I hope that's not how it goes.
Me neither, because I don't want him to die, but I could see them doing it that way. But yeah. Put your hand on the table. Let's rate the episode.
Oh, okay.
Out of 5. So when you hear these and you hear lower scores, we're not going to 10. We're going to 5.
Going to 5.
All right, ready? In 3, 2, 1. Oh, we both did 4.
Yeah, there wasn't much missing from this one.
No, I enjoyed it, man. You had a lot going on, got introduced to a new character, and then said character bit the dust. But we've got a new filthy woman that definitely could be this could end up being a really cool villain. I said, a single solitary woman that's just going to make hell, life hell for these people. I'm interested to see where she's going to go. It's definitely got me intrigued. I'm really excited for the next week's episode.
Same here, man. Tainting water, that's some grimy stuff right there. Never drink, bottled water if the seal is broken. I think that's a takeaway from this episode.
Not in the Walking Dead world, not in the modern world.
I ain't doing it.
Well, we'll see you later this week, especially comic readers. We have our Pull List podcast coming out Thursday, as well as a Walking Dead comic podcast. We're excited to get back on track with those and get comfortable for the Pull List podcast, because we're probably going to be on there for a while. A lot coming out this week.
Yeah, way too much coming out. Lots of good stuff, though.
I'm going to have to whip out the old credit card on this one.
I'm telling you, brother, I might be rolling up some quarters. I don't know what's going to happen.
But we will see you later this week. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And this is the Podcasting Dead.
Sure is.